What's going on, guys? I am back with another video, and this time we're going to be looking at Fire King Dogmatika deck profile. So yeah, this deck is extremely good. It's not like tier 1 or anything, but it's probably going to be the best you're going to get for, sub $60 to $70. This is probably going to be the best deck you're going to get for that price range. So yeah, let's get right into it. First, we have our 3 Nadir Servants. This is going to be a 1-card starter in the deck. It's a better 1-card starter than Ponix, but that doesn't necessarily mean you want to see it more often than Ponix. Honestly, normal summoning Ponix before using Nadir Servant is typically pretty good. It ends up giving you like an extra 1 or 2 interruptions. So yeah, next we have our 3 Ponix. This is going to be the main 1-card starter of the deck. This card is basically, this is kind of what makes Fire Kings a competitive deck, because it's a level 1 fire and it's a starter. So yeah, we have our 3 Ponix, then we have our way to get to it, which is 1 for 1. And we do have another target for 1 for 1, which is going to be Magician Souls. I'll explain that when I get to it. Then we have our 3 Pot of Prosperity. That's just going to be for, basically for consistency, because this deck only has 7 starters. So in order to gain more consistency without, adding extremely expensive cards to the deck, is going to be a Pot of Prosperity. It's almost always going to get you into a starter, and if you already have a starter, it's almost always going to get you into another desirable card. So yeah, very good card, highly necessary in this version of the deck. And moving on, we have our 3 Sanctuary. This card is very good at playing around Droll, so you really want it at 3. You want your 2 Fire King Island, speaking of the next card, because Sanctuary gets you into Fire King Island, but you don't want 3 because it's not as good as Sanctuary, because it doesn't allow you to exceed on your opponent's turn. So yeah, we have our 2 Fire King Islands. You don't want 1, because if your opponent outs it, you do really want another one in the grind game to be able to trigger all of your Fire King effects. So yeah, then we have our Circle of the Fire Kings. It's a very good extender. It's a very good, it can actually be almost like an interruption on your opponent's turn, because if you go through your XE's line and then you actually pop it with a circle to special summon something like a Rangbali or an Arvada, it can actually give you another interruption. So yeah, very good card. It's even plausible to drop 1 Sanctuary and play a 2nd Circle. But for now, just for consistency and not losing to Droll, we'll go with the 3 Sanctuary and just the 1 Circle. And then we have our Skyburn. Very good interruption, very good board breaker. Can help you dodge your opponent's interruptions. So yeah, very good card, highly mandatory in the deck. Second or 3rd search target for Onyx, being the Sanctuary, the Circle, and the Skyburn. So yeah, then we have our 2 Garunics. This is like the heart and soul of the deck. This card basically gets you through your whole combo and into interruptions, and it also acts as almost an interruption on your opponent's turn as well, because if any of your fires are destroyed, it can special summon itself and then destroy a Fire King from the deck. So one of those Fire Kings could be High Avatar Kirin. And High Avatar Kirin, when it's destroyed, it can special summon a Fire King from the grave or hand, and then non-target pop a card your opponent controls. So yeah, that's how Garunix is kind of like an interruption on your opponent's turn. And most of our combos will actually set Garunix up in the grave. So yeah, Kirin is very good also at helping you dodge interruptions on your Ponix. By destroying it to special summon itself. It can also destroy other things to special summon itself, like Arvada or Barong, to get you even more interruptions. Speaking of Arvada and Barong, they are searchable off of Tenki, but we're not running Tenki in this deck because we don't really have any way to make use of the space in the spell and trap zone. So like, for example, if we had Diabell Star, we could send it to the grave. You know what? Actually, maybe, you know what? I'm going to switch it up on the spot, because I just realized we're running souls, so we do have a way to abuse the fact that Tenki stays on the board. So we'll go ahead and add 2 Tenki. and take away 1 Sanctuary. So yeah, on the fly, I went ahead and added the 2 Tenki because I realized, yeah, I have Magician Souls. I have a bunch of ways to get to it, namely 1 for 1 and Illusion of Chaos. So it might be worth going with the Tenki so that I have a free basically draw off of it. So yeah, we have our 1 Arvada, our 1 Barong, and our 1 Rangbali. They're kind of like bricks in the deck. Arvada is kind of the best one because you can normal summon it to dodge things like Droll or Ash. But they all kind of serve the same purpose, in which they kind of serve as extenders for the next turn. So yeah, then we have our Tenki to search them. It can search any of these 3. So, and it stays on the board, so that helps us with our Magician Souls, which I'll get to in a minute. But first, we have our Dogmatika Maximus. This is a combo piece from our Dogmatika, our Nadir Servant package. We also have the Fleur de Lis, which we would search off of the Titaniclad. So yeah, Dogmatika Maximus is really good. If you get interrupted on it, it's kind of like a choke point. But if you already have the Ponix in your hand, then you're fine. So yeah, then we have the Fleur de Lis, which, like I said, we search it off of the Titaniclad. And we have the Magician Souls. This is a really spicy tech in this deck because you can actually access it through the 1-card combo. So if you have, let's say, for example, Nadir Servant and Tenki in your hand, you basically have... you can turn Tenki into a free draw. So, or even like, let's say you open 2 Nadir Servants, which I find myself doing a lot. You can actually turn the second Nadir Servant into a draw using Magician Souls. So I'll actually show off the combo at the end of this deck profile, just so you guys realize what I'm talking about. So yeah, then we have Illusion of Chaos. It basically just searches the Magician Souls. You don't need it because you could actually send the Maximus to the grave with the Magician Souls. And you can search the Maximus using the Nadir Servant from the grave. So yeah, moving along, we have the Called by the Grave. This protects us from hand traps. Not much more to say about that. We have our Saravis, another target to search off of the Herald of the Arclight, which is what we would be sending to search the Illusion of Chaos. So yeah, Saravis, another kind of protection card, kind of like a hand trap. Then we have all of our hand traps. We have Droll, DD Crow, Ash, Imperm. Ash and Imperm are just basically the best and most generic hand traps in the game. Droll and Lockbird is a really good blowout card, but it's not as reliable as these other 2. And DD Crow is searchable. So yeah, DD Crow is kind of like kind of mandatory in this deck because the only other target would be Ponix. But because we have the DD Crow, we're able to search it if we already have the Ponix. So yeah. Then we go into our extra deck. So yeah, we have our 2 XCs, mandatory for the combo. It is useful on both turns, so having 2 of it does come up, especially in this version of the deck that revolves so much around actually getting your Fire King stuff off. So yeah, then we have our Herald of the Arclight. We send this to the grave off of the Dogmatika Maximus to search either Illusion of Chaos or Saravis. So this makes the deck so consistent because you can use it plus, like, let's say Tenki and a second Nadir Servant, and you use those cards to draw into 2 more cards, and plus you still have the souls on your field to use as like some type of material. So yeah, very good. Herald of the Arclight makes that a very good play. Then we have our Garuro. This is necessary for the 1-card combo, the Nadir Servant 1-card combo. It also draws you a card with the 1-card combo, so you're just drawing left and right. Your 1-card combo can get you like 3 draws if you have 2 random spells and traps that are not useful in your hand. So yeah. Then we have our Titaniclad. This is used to search us our Fleur de Lis to basically use it as another hand trap during the opponent's turn. Then we have our Entis. This is used in a pinch, or if we're going second, to destroy our opponent's cards. Then we have our Shureg. This is part of the mainline combo. This is necessary to search the Ponix, but it also searches DD Crow. So like I was saying earlier, you want to be able to have that second search target in case you already have the Ponix in your hand. Then we have the Tri-Brigade Arms Bucephalus. This is what you send off of the Nadir Servant if you already have Maximus in your hand, because you can send this to add the Fleur de Lis. So that makes your Nadir Servant still live, and then you add basically what is a hand trap on your opponent's turn. So yeah, the Bucephalus is kind of necessary, but it's not absolutely necessary. It's like, you know, it comes up pretty often, but it doesn't come up every single game. So yeah, then we have our Relinquished Anima. This is good going second, good for breaking boards. We have a few targets that we can use to just normal summon and then link into it, namely Roland Lockbird, Ponix, and DD Crow. And the Magician Souls. We can actually use the Magician Souls in that way too. So very, very strong. Then we have our Almirage. This is used to do our pure Fire King combos. We have our Link Karibo, also used for our pure Fire King combos. We have Sunlight Wolf and Heat Soul, also used for our pure Fire King combos. So these 4 cards are kind of like, if you start with Nadir Servant, these are kind of like, you can Prosperity Fodder them, or you can do something else with them, depending on whatever you want. So yeah, then we have our IP. This is mainly if you don't go into the Nadir Servant stuff. This can also be useful if you're just doing pure Fire King stuff. Then we have the Pit Knight early, same thing as IP. It's kind of like an IP target, but SP is a little better. So if you have SP, just use SP. So yeah, then we'll go into our side deck. We have our honorary Fire King rank 8, which is Dingirsu. This card is very useful in this deck. It can be used to beat decks that we struggle against, namely also in the mirror match. So very good card, very useful against decks that like to destroy. Also very useful against Dragoon. If you this deck really struggles against Dragoon, and Dingirsu just basically turns Dragoon off completely. So yeah, then we have our Myriologic Aggregator. This is another target to send off of the Maximus or the Nadir Servant. Negates an opponent's face-up card. It's pretty good, but it's not necessary, so that's why we have it in the side deck. You could honestly take it out for another DD Crow. Speaking of DD Crow, we have a second DD Crow here. We only need 2 total because it is searchable. But if you do want to run 3 because it's, you know, good in your locals meta or whatever, feel free. I just don't think it's good enough in the generic meta to basically recommend it to everybody. We have the 2 Droll and Lockbird that we don't have in the deck. If you go against a deck that struggles against Droll and Lockbird, you really want to put this in, because it can really blow out the deck and basically make you auto win the game. Then we have our Triple Tactics Talents. This is very good. It allows you to draw even more cards on your turn when your opponent tries to interrupt you. So on top of your Magician Souls and your Garura, you're drawing like 5 cards potentially, and it just gets really insane. Evenly Matched, it's a blowout card against certain decks, especially back row decks. So it's kind of necessary to have at least one of those cards, and Evenly is my choice. This could also be Lightning Storm and Harpy's Feather Duster, but, you know, I just decided Evenly is a little more generic. So then we have our 5 going first cards. 2 Solemn Judgment. This is really good at protecting against things like Evenly, Lightning Storm, Harpy's Feather Duster, Cosmic Cyclone, things that destroy your Fire King Island and can be a really bad time for you. Then you have your Dimensional Barrier. This can honestly just be Anti-Spell. I think Anti-Spell is better. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and change that right now. Let's go Anti-Spell. Put 3 of those down here. I think in the meta, Anti-Spell is going to be a much bigger threat than Dimensional Barrier. So yeah, these will be our 5 going first cards, and that'll be the end of the deck profile. Now let's go ahead and get into a 1-card combo. Alright, so this is going to be our 1-card combo. It's literally just Nadir Servant. So we're going to activate it. We're going to send Garura to search us the Maximus. And in this combo, I'm going to show you why Magician Souls is so useful in this version of the deck. Garura is going to draw us a card. And look at that, we got a useless spell. So we might be able to use that later. We'll banish the Garura to special summon the Maximus. We'll activate the Maximus effect. we'll send Shureg and Herald of the Arclight. And then we'll just have them send whatever. Matter. So now we're going to proc both of these. Now the Shureg is a more important effect, so we're going to go Shureg 1, Herald of the Arclight 2. We're going to add Illusion of Chaos using the Herald, and using the Shureg, we're going to add Ponix. We're going to normal summon the Ponix. We're going to activate the Ponix. We're going to add Sanctuary. So now this is going to be basically our regular Fire King mainline combo. We're going to activate the Sanctuary to place the Fire King Island. And then we're going to activate the island, popping the Ponix to go into Garura to add the Garura. The Garura is going to trigger, special summon itself, and then destroy a Fire King from the deck. And what we're going to destroy is going to be Barong. Now, guess what we have? A bunch of spells and traps. And actually, this is really good for us. So what we're going to do is, we have really no way to get rid of the Garunix, right? Because we really want it in the grave, because if it's in the grave, we can use it to then destroy another Fire King from the deck. We can't do that by using the extra deck, because we went into our Nadir stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to activate Illusion of Chaos to add us Magician Souls. We're going to put the Illusion of Chaos back. We're going to activate the Illusion of Chaos, or the Magician Souls, sending the Illusion of Chaos to special summon itself. So now we're going to go ahead and try to draw 2 cards. And we're going to get the Garunix in the grave. So this is going to basically give us 2 draws and an interruption by sending Garunix to the grave. So we'll activate that, sending Island and our random useless spell in our hand. Now guess what? We destroyed everything. We got Garunix into the grave and we drew 2 cards. Our Ponix is trying to trigger. I'm not going to do that because that wouldn't be realistic. But if you did draw into Ponix for some reason, you could trigger it at that point. So now you go end phase. You activate your Barong to add you, Kieran. And you activate Ponix to add itself back. So now you have your full Fire King combo, because you do still have Sanctuary, you have the Kieran in your hand, and you have a Garunix in the grave. So what you would do is you would destroy Ponix using your Kieran, and then that would special summon the Garunix, and then you would have your Xyz online anytime your opponent would special summon something. And then also you would be able to special summon the Ponix in your hand, or if you had a, let's say for example, Rang Bali, you'd be able to also special summon the Rang Bali at the end of that too. So yeah, very good combo. Only takes 1 card. It makes your Magician Souls extremely useful, and on top of that, it gives you another target for your 1-for-1. So yeah, it also gives you another target for your Herald of the Arclight in case you already draw your Seravis. So yeah, very good combo, very good deck, very cheap deck. So if you're running on a very tight budget and you don't like the Tri-Brigade stuff, this is probably the best way to go. So yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. If you guys liked it, like and subscribe. Let me know if I missed anything. Let me know if you guys want to see anything else that I haven't done yet. Let me know if you have any comments on the video. Yeah, peace.